Imagine a powerful family, a family with deep roots in a small town. For generations they held power. They were the law. The Murdaugh family was a dynasty in the low country of South Carolina. For over 100 years, 3 generations of Murdaughs served as the top prosecutor for a 5-county region. They were respected. They were feared. The answer would shock not just South Carolina, but the entire nation. Don't miss a single update on this case. Subscribe now to stay informed. The date was June 7, 2021. It was a hot and humid summer evening at Moselle. The Murdaugh family's sprawling 1,770-acre hunting estate. This vast property with its long, winding driveways, isolated dog kennels, meant to be a private sanctuary for the family. But on this night, it became a horrific crime scene. Alex Murdaugh, the patriarch, called 911 in a frantic state. He told the dispatcher he had just returned home to a terrible sight. He said he had found his wife Maggie. He had found his youngest son Paul, lying on the ground near the kennels. They were not breathing. Both had been shot multiple times. Maggie Murdaugh, 52, a well-known figure in the community. She was shot with a rifle. Paul Murdaugh, 22. He was shot with a shotgun. The brutality sent a wave of shock and fear through the close-knit community. Who would commit such a violent act against such a prominent family? At first, the public speculated about revenge. Paul faced charges in connection with a 2019 boat crash that killed Mallory Beach. Many wondered if someone angry about that incident was responsible. The family presented a picture of grief, united in their loss. The initial investigation seemed to move slowly. Law enforcement released very few details. The Murdaugh family's influence was a constant unspoken presence. For weeks there were no arrests and no named suspects. Alex, the grieving husband and father, had a seemingly solid alibi. He claimed he had been visiting his elderly parents at the time. He appeared distraught. The community offered sympathy. He was the one who discovered the bodies and made the desperate call. The idea he could be involved seemed unthinkable to many. However, as investigators dug deeper, the narrative began to shift. Focus turned inward toward the man who had reported the crime. Small inconsistencies in Alex's story started to emerge. Questions arose about his timeline. The absence of other credible suspects made law enforcement look at the family's inner circle. The perfect family facade began to crack. Beneath it lay a complex web of problems no outsider could have imagined. The double murder at Moselle was not the beginning. It was a violent climax to a drama unfolding in the shadows for years. As investigators scrutinized Alex Murdaugh, they uncovered a shocking secret. He was not the successful, wealthy lawyer everyone thought he was. For years he had been stealing money. Millions of dollars. He stole from his own law firm, PMP'd. He also stole from the vulnerable clients he was supposed to be helping, including the family of his longtime housekeeper, Gloria Satterfield. She had died in 2018, after a mysterious trip and fall accident at the Murdaugh home. Alex had promised her sons he would sue his own insurance to get them a settlement. He did get the money. Over $4 million. In July 2022, more than a year after the murders, Alex Murdaugh was officially charged the killing of his wife, Maggie. The killing of his son, Paul. The trial began in early 2023, and honestly, it quickly became a national obsession. It was broadcast live, and millions of people tuned in every single day. The prosecution's case was built on a mountain of circumstantial evidence. They did not have a confession. They did not have the murder weapons, which were never found. Instead, they had to piece together a timeline of events to convince the jury that Alex, and only Alex, could have committed these terrible crimes. The most crucial piece of evidence was a video. It was found on Paul Murdaugh's cell phone. The video was taken at the dog kennels just minutes before the estimated time of the murders. For months, Alex had insisted he was not at the kennels that night. He had told everyone, including law enforcement, that he was at the main house napping before going to visit his mother. But in the background of Paul's video, a voice could be heard. Multiple witnesses, including close friends of the family, took the stand. In July 2022, more than a year after the murders, after 6 weeks of testimony, the jury began deliberations. The nation waited. After less than 3 hours, the jury returned. Guilty, Maggie Murdaugh. Guilty, Paul Murdaugh. The verdict was swift and decisive. The once powerful lawyer stood silently as his fate was read. The fall was complete. The next day he was sentenced to 2 consecutive life terms without parole. He will spend the rest of his life behind bars. The verdict ended a legal dynasty that reigned over the South Carolina Low Country for a century. The Murdaugh name, once a symbol of power and respect, was now linked to murder, corruption, disgrace. The case exposed a dark side of the justice system where wealth and influence could bend the rules. How many other secrets were hidden? Truth can be hidden for a long time, but it finds its way to light. No one is above the law.